we know that speed is equal to 0 during standstill. During start, we know that the speed is initially 0. If n is equal to 0, if I substitute that n is equal to 0 over here, you can see that it will be ns minus 0 by ns. So ns gets cancelled. So slip will be equal to 1. Okay, slip is equal to 1. So that's why we say that during standstill, slip value is always equal to 1. Okay, one more thing. What if slip value is 0? What if slip value is 0? So if substitute slip value as 0, can substitute 0 here. So cross multiply. So it becomes 0. So finally ns minus n equal to 0. So it will be ns equal to n. So is it possible? Ns equal to n? No, it is not possible for our case, that is induction motor case. So synchronous speed is never equal to rotor speed. So slip can't be 0. Okay, slip can't be 0. Okay. So remember, slip parameter will only come with respect to induction motor and not with a synchronous motor. Okay. Now let us see the effect of slip on the rotor parameters. So here are some rotor parameters. The first one is rotor frequency. The second one is rotor induced EMF in terms of magnitude. The third one is rotor reactance, XR you can call, and cos phi r, that is rotor power factor. Other one is rotor current. See, whatever 5 parameters are written over here, they are all with respect to the rotor. Okay, it is not with respect to the stator. And again, these values will be completely different with the stator parameters. Okay. And again, these 5 parameters are also present in the stator, but the slip is acting only upon the rotor. Okay. Now let us discuss the effect of slip on the rotor frequency. Okay. So you know that this in this formula, ns equal to 125 f by p. But tell me where this speed is. Yes, this is a synchronous speed present in the stator part. And the similar thing we need to write with respect to the rotor. Two things are the one with the stator, the other with respect to the rotor always. So remember, rotor will always rotate at the what subsynchronous speed, or also you can call it as what, slip speed. The slip speed is always what, the relative motion between ns as well as n. So instead of writing just n in equal to 125 f by p, I'm writing what, relative motion speed, that is ns minus n equal to 120 fr by p. What is fr? R represents rotor frequency. Okay, p represents the pole present in the rotor part. So remember, that's why the reason we haven't written n equal to 120 fr by p, because we are going to calculate the slip effect. So we are writing in terms of slip parameter. So it is slip speed. Ns minus n is nothing but what, slip speed of the rotor, or you can call it actual speed of the rotor. So if I divide one by the another, so you can see ns minus n equal to 125 fr by p. So next one is ns equal to 120 f by p. The same formula I have written here back. So what happens, you can see pp gets cancelled, whereas 120 gets cancelled. But we know that ns minus n divided by ns is nothing but slip. Already we have discussed here. You can see that ns minus n divided by ns is equal to nothing but slip. Okay, here, right? The same thing, I'm going to replace this whole part. So this part is replaced by s. So s equal to fr by p. So rotor frequency is always equal to what, s times of stator frequency. Okay, s multiplied by stator frequency. And just remember, if we know that slip value is equal to 1 during standstill, so if I substitute that s equal to 1, then what happens, the rotor frequency will be equal to the stator frequency. That happens only when your motor is at the standstill. And we know that usually your induction motor slip will be around 1 to 5%. If I substitute that 1 to 5%, any value in between those range, what happens, like 1% means it is 0.01. If I multiply with the stator frequency, let us assume that stator frequency is 50 hertz. So rotor frequency will be very, very, very less. Okay, remember, always rotor frequency is always less than the stator frequency. It is true only during the running condition, and during a standstill, rotor frequency is always equal to the stator frequency. F is nothing but your stator frequency, and fr is your rotor frequency. Why? Because s value is equal to 1. We already seen that how s value becomes 1. So next, let's see that how this slip is going to affect by the magnitude of the rotor induced EMF. So let us assume that E2 be the induced EMF in the rotor part. Let E1 be the induced EMF in the stator part, and let E2 be the induced EMF in the rotor part. Anyhow, E1 we are not considering since we are only discussing with respect to the rotor part. In case I'm telling E2 be the rotor induced EMF during standstill condition. Okay, next one is what? E2R. E2R be the rotor induced EMF in the running condition. So this be the standstill condition or zero speed condition, and this is be the running condition. So E2 will be proportional to the NS. So during standstill, remember, EMF induced in the rotor will be what? With respect to always proportional to the stator frequency, that is stator speed. Okay, that is stator speed. E2 is always proportional to the stator speed. Whereas your EMF induced in the rotor, that is E2R, during running condition is always the difference of two speeds, that is NS and N, NS minus N, that is slip speed. So E2R is always nothing but what you can also write it as E2R proportional to S times of NS. Okay, that is also same, and this is also same. That is your EMF induced in the rotor is always with respect to the slip speed, you can call. So if we divide one by the another, E2R by E2, so what happens here? NS minus N divided by NS, dividing one by the another. So again we know that NS minus N by NS is nothing but slip. Again we want to replace this by S parameters. So now E2R by E2 is equal to S. So E2R is equal to S times of E2. That is rotor induced EMF is slip times of EMF induced during standstill. Yes or not? This E2 is nothing but EMF induced in the rotor during the standstill. What if slip value is equal to 1? You can see that running EMF condition in the rotor as well as during standstill will be equal to always same, but practically they are not equal to same. They are only same, equal only during the starting. Okay, when during running and all, what happens? Your rotor induced EMF will reduce. Actually it was initially high, but during running what happens? Your E2R will reduce, go on reducing. Okay, now let us see effect of slip on rotor resistance as well as reactance. So let us define, let R2 be the rotor resistance per phase. Let us assume that the 3 phase we know that. So per phase, since we are considering only one phase condition for understanding sake, on standstill. Standstill in sense what? Speed is equal to 0. Whereas X2 be the rotor reactance per phase on standstill. And we know that during standstill Fr is equal to F, because Fr is equal to S time of F. Standstill means S equal to 1. So Fr is equal to F. And let us define L2 be the inductance of rotor per phase. Okay. Now let us see the calculation here. And we know that X2 is what? 2 pi FL. Basic formula is X reactance formula is 2 pi FL. Since we are doing with respect to rotor, so X2 will be equal to 2 pi Fr times of L2. Why Fr? Because rotor frequency, right? Rotor frequency Fr. And again we are assuming Fr is equal to F. Okay, during standstill you can write F also here, no problem. Still write it as Fr 2 pi Fr L2. Okay, 2 pi, that's what you can, it is written here, 2 pi F into L2. And again R2 is what? Rotor resistance ohm per phase. And we shall substitute, and we have the formula here during running condition. What formula we have? Fr is equal to S times of your stator frequency. X2R is equal to 2 pi Fr L2. This is what again I have written here. And again 2 pi F, again Fr is replaced by F during standstill, or also can write it as Fr is equal to S times of F, generalized formula. If you are going to write for standstill means you can eliminate this S, but still I'm considering generally I'm writing 2 pi S times of F, because Fr is equal to S times of F. I'm writing here S. And again what I'm rearranging here in terms of S into 2 pi FL2, making S one side, 2 pi FL2 one side. So what happens here? 2 pi FL2 is nothing but what? X2. Yes, to basic formula we know that 2 pi FL2 is called what? X2. This is what you written here, X2. I have written here X2 here. So I'm replacing whole term as X2. And now what happens? Your reactance of the rotor during running condition, R is nothing but running, or you can call it as running condition. X2R is equal to S times of reactance during standstill. So X2R is equal to S times of X2. So this relation also is similar to that of this. Fr is equal to S times of F, whereas E2R is equal to S times of E2, whereas X2R is also equal to what? S times of x2. Okay, and again you can see that resistance is independent of the rotor frequency. It always remains same though it is standstill or though it is running condition, but x2r will change its value during running as well as standstill. If I write in terms of impedance, means we know that Z2 is the rotor impedance standstill, though I can see that I have not written any R here. So Z2 is standstill. So Z2 is equal to, you can write it as in terms of R2 plus JX2. If I take mod, if I want many magnitude, means it will be square root of R2 plus R2 square plus X2 square, whereas Z2R is the rotor impedance during running condition. The similar thing happens. As I said, you can see rotor will not change its value, that is rotor resistance will not change its value, it remains same though it is in standstill or running. So R2 will remain R2 itself even though it is running, but X2 will change. You can see it is X2R, not X2, because its value will always change as per the formula. Okay, you can see that. Again, if I write in terms of this, means what happens, you can change this as X2R, because X2R is nothing but S times of X2. I have replaced this X2R equal to S times of X2. Again, I'm taking magnitude of that. Z2R will become to what? Square root of R2 square plus SX2 square whole square. Okay. Now let us see the slip affecting on the rotor power factor. Okay. So let us see. This is, we know that power triangle, R2 will always remain as the base, where X2 always remains as what? Opposite side, whereas Z2 is always on the hypotenuse side. And we know that this is the inductive motor. So what happens? Always it is R2 and X2 are 90 degrees to each other. Remember that R2 and X2 are always 90 degrees to each other, whereas Z2 is what? Impedance causing due to R2 as well as X2. It is always comes on the hypotenuse, whereas power factor, you can see power factor angle I have drawn it as phi 2 here. Okay, now if I write power factor for this particular part during standstill, and the formula will be adjacent by hypotenuse, cos formula. So cos phi 2 equal to R2 by Z2, and again we know that R2 remains R2 itself though it is standstill or running. And again we know that impedance can be written it as during standstill square root of R2 square plus X2 square. This is the formula we have with respect to standstill one on the rotor parameter. What if it is running? So Z2 will change it as Z2R, X2 will change as X2R, whereas R2 will remains again R2. As I said, R2 value doesn't change whether it is running or standstill, but power factor, yes, power factor will change. It will change it as change by phi to R. And again the same formula I can write here, adjacent by hypotenuse R2 by Z2R. R2 remains R2 and Z2R is equal to what? It is we know that here it was X2 and here it was what? X2R, and X2R will be replaced by what? S times of X2, and R2 by square root of R2 square plus whole square of S into X2. Okay, now let us see how the slip affects on the rotor current. Okay, and let us define, let I2 be the current in the rotor during standstill. So what happens here? We know that simple basic formula here. If I apply, it is equivalent circuit. I have taken single phase here, the rotor part, and this is, as I said, it is short circuit. So it is E2 R2 X2. So current flows here is I2. So we can write here what here is I2 is equal to E2 by Z2. You can write it as Z2. Okay, R2 plus JX2 is called as Z2. So I2 per phase is equal to E2 per phase by Z2 per phase. In Z2 you can replace here square root of R2 square plus X2 square. So this is true for standstill. Now let us see what happens during rotation. And we know that EMF E2 will change by what? E2R during standstill. So E2R is equal to S into E2. Already we have proved this. R2 remains R2. But whereas X2 will change as X2R during running condition, and it will be equal to what? S times of X2. Yes, I2R will also change. It can be written as I2 as I2R during the running condition. If I write the same formula here, I get I2R is equal to E2R by Z2R, where E2R is equal to S times of E2. Again I have written Z2R is equal to square root of R2 square plus X2 square, but X2 will change it as X2R. We have already seen that. So X2R is replaced by S into X2 whole square. Okay, so this is the formula, that is rotor current during running condition. Okay. So we have to remember all this formula at a glance. So one thing, a quick glance we can do, your rotor frequency, is what? Fr is equal to S times of Sf, whereas your E2R is equal to S times of E2, whereas your X2R is equal to S